Hello, so in this video we're going to be talking about Lewis dot diagrams. So for our Lewis dot diagrams we're going to need to know valence electrons of atoms. So if you're having a hard time finding valence electrons, or if it's a little bit confusing to you, I would recommend going and watching the last video about valence electrons and how to find them, because we'll need them for drawing these different diagrams. So Lewis dot diagrams are pretty simple. There's two parts to them. One part is our chemical symbol, and then the second part is the dots that show us the number of valence electrons. So, for an example, let's go ahead and take tin, which tin is Sn is its chemical symbol. So, first part of our diagram, we just write out Sn. It's our symbol. And then we go ahead and pull up our periodic table. And on our periodic table, we find out where tin is, and we see that it's right here. And we need to find out how many valence electrons it has. We know that carbon's whole column has 4 valence electrons in it. So tin must also have 4 valence electrons. So if we go back to our diagram, we have to put dots on this diagram that show that it has 4 valence electrons. Now, we could put it in a few different ways, but the one way that we have to put it is our electrons have to be spaced out as much as possible. So since electrons have a negative charge, they don't want to be next to each other unless they absolutely have to be. And with 4 valence electrons, we can put them on 4 different sides, because our diagram has 4 sides: a top, a bottom, a left, and a right. So when we're using our 4 valence electrons, we can put a dot above, we can put a dot below, a dot to the right, and a dot to the left. And that would be how we would make our Lewis dot diagram for tin. This shows us that we have 4 valence electrons for a tin atom. So let's go ahead and grab a different example. How about we do potassium? So potassium's really easy. We've got K as our chemical symbol. If we look on our periodic table, it's in the very first column, which means it only has 1 valence electron. You just put 1 dot. And for one final example of how to do Lewis dot structures, we'll go ahead and go with xenon. So xenon is Xe on the very far right side of our periodic table. So that means it has 8 valence electrons. Once you get above 4, you've got to start doubling up. So we would put 2 dots above, 2 dots below, 2 dots on the right, and 2 dots on the left. So this shows us that we have 8 valence electrons in xenon, that we have 4 valence electrons in tin, and that we have 1 valence electron in potassium. And that's all we need to do for Lewis dot diagrams.